Sometimes people wonder why God doesn't just appear to everyone on earth and prove in person that he exists.
Holy clinkers! That's a really good point. Wish I'd have thought of that. Or, God had thought of that. But you know who wouldn't have thought of that? Someone who wrote a book about a made-up guy that doesn't real. I think they would go to desperate lengths to excuse the fact that he doesn't actually seem to turn up all that much. And when he does, it's a story that no one can ever confirm for some reason. Starting to think that maybe he doesn't real.
Why doesn't he show himself to each generation of humanity so that everyone on earth can see and hear him and know beyond a shadow of a doubt that he is real?
First off, every generation, why wouldn't it just be all the time? He's God. Hell, he doesn't even really have to be there. Surely he has access to some pretty fancy tech. He could leave a recording from high above the clouds or projected on the moon or whatever, saying, "Hi, God here, just checking in to let you know I'm still totally real and totally did all the stuff. If you have any questions, feel free to email me using god@god.god. And I will send you a personally handcrafted automatic reply telling you that I'm too busy to answer. Okay, bye. Please leave a message after the tone." Honk.
After all, according to the Bible, the Lord appeared to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob as God Almighty.
According to is doing a lot of heavy lifting there. Kinda feels more like an allegedly to me. And yeah, isn't that weird? In the storybooks where it's a story and not like documentary footage, a taped recording, or thousands of photographs. In fact, when all those things were invented, the God sightings seemed to go down somewhat. And to zero for people who had that kind of equipment with them. Weird.
And he spoke to Moses face to face, as a man speaks to his friend.
Oh, I thought he spoke to Moses face to bush. And if I remember correctly, the bush had some sort of infection, possibly a UTI. Although I could be thinking of something else. And as a man speaks to his friend, I mean, I don't know about you, but absolutely none of my friends are infinitely smaller than me in mind, size, and complexity. It would be like a human talking to a bacterium, only way more of a stark difference. Seriously, what would they even have to talk about? As much as I would with, well, a fucking human. Yeah.
So why doesn't he do the same for everyone else?
Because he fucking hates you. Have you met you? You're the worst. Sitting around not being Jesus. Because it stands to reason. If you're all God's children, what exactly is so special about Jabus? And if you feel the need to answer that obviously supposed to be humorous line, God help you, even though he doesn't real, I am going to eat your fucking house.
Christians freely admit that there are many specific things that we don't know about the eternal, omnipotent, omniscient creator of the universe.
Well, isn't that nice? Although it implies that there are in fact things that you do know about him. You know, like that he's eternal, omni-nipples or omnom-nomini, or in fact the creator of anything, let alone a universe. You actually don't know any of those things. You just wish it were true, real hard, and pretend like it is and that you know it for a fact. But you, of course, couldn't know any of that without the aforementioned him bothering to turn up at all and do some card tricks for you.
Including why he does or does not do certain things.
Well, I do have a guess as to why he does not do certain things. My guess is, and you'll have to bear with me because I'm about to blow your mind, he doesn't actually exist, so he can't do the things he's not doing, and also do the things that you think that he did do. Again, because of the not reeling.
There's no way to know the mind of God unless he chooses to reveal some of his ways to us.
Isn't that the entire fucking point of this video? That he hasn't been doing that for some mysterious and completely unfathomably obvious reason. He doesn't reveal his designs to us because he literally can't. Like, even if there is a real God, that would be one of the main things you could know about him, that apparently he is completely incapable of interacting with the universe. Otherwise, you'd think he might.
So has God specifically revealed why he hasn't appeared to every human being in the history of the world to prove his existence to them?
Well, I'm going to guess absolutely not. Otherwise, we would all know, and there would be no wrong religions, and not even wrong versions of Christianity. And certainly no atheists, except maybe in cases of someone being so brain damaged they are practically in a coma. And wouldn't it just be typical of the God we all know and hate because of how real he is, for him to send coma patients to hell for not worshipping him enough? It's not his fault that they didn't even have a chance to know anything about him whatsoever or do anything about it, right?
The fact is, God doesn't expressly address this question in the Bible.
Assuming that's true, that sounds like bad writing more than anything else. A plot hole or an oversight. But it's probably not a big deal or even something that he should do because it makes him seem extra real somehow. But never ever could you ever admit maybe the Bible just isn't all that well written. Probably because it was written by idiots. Although written by idiots doesn't exactly preclude God from having done so.
But he does reveal enough to us about himself and his creation to know a few things.
In his creation, do you mean the Bible or the everything? Because, again, no to both. But I will be interested to find out exactly what that entails. And how you know for a fact that God did the thing that was definitely left there on purpose to make sure you know he is big real and did all the on purpose.
Beginning with the fact that even if God did directly appear to and speak with every person on earth,
I think I can see where this is going. He would get so fucking sick and tired of the lot of you that he would just be forced to blow up the goddamn planet. I mean, what's he supposed to do? The vast majority of humans are awful all the time. Even with infinite power, infinite time, and, yes, infinite love. He's still only got one stomach.
not everyone would believe in him.
He shows that in his creation on purpose. What? Why the fuck would he do that? Create a bunch of people specifically designed not to believe in him? What, so that he can throw them into hell and be like, see what happens when you have no choice but to defy me? I'm the good guy in this scenario, and not some sort of megalomaniacal freak who gets off on people suffering all the time. No, of course not.
After all, God revealed himself to mankind in the first century as Jesus of Nazareth.
To mankind as a whole. I don't think you know what it means to reveal yourself to everyone. It means this. Gotcha. I wouldn't show you my junk. You don't deserve it. And I'll leave it up to you to figure out if I mean that in a good way or a bad way. But no, turning up and talking to like 12 people... I didn't even mean to do a disciples joke there, but yeah. There were a lot more people on the planet than in the immediate and even plausible vicinity of Jesus at the time. Estimated at between 150 to 300 million of the goddamn people. Were they all introduced to him as well? I highly fucking doubt it.
Speaking like no man ever spoke and working all manner of miracles, including walking on water.
Speaking of allegedly, and I thought you said this was shit shown in his creation. I guess you really did mean the Bible, because I genuinely thought you were going to do the look at the trees bit your lot enjoys doing so much. But yeah, no. Many people don't believe Jesus, if such a man did exist, did any of that kind of shit. And spoke as no man did, well, so does Crazy Bob. But no one thinks he's the Messiah, just that he's a very naughty boy. Wait a minute.
Healing the blind and reattaching severed body parts with the touch of his hand.
Lol, there you fucking go, do that. Send Jesus again. We can't do that without countless hours of painstaking surgery. That would be a bona fide miracle worker. Jesus too, electric boogaloo, and you'll have far less doubting Thomases kicking about, I promise. Well, you would have until a couple of years ago when all the AI videos started popping up. Oh wait, I've got a good idea. Get him to do a Christian video that isn't obviously idiotic nonsense. AI or no, that would be a miracle for the ages.
Even though Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead and came back from the dead himself, many still did not believe in him.
Even though he did this impossible thing we can't actually prove and this other impossible thing that we cannot prove either, many still did not believe him or that he could do those impossible things we cannot prove. You don't fucking say.
They rejected him despite the fact that he, God, appeared to them face to face.
Fact is a real fucking strong word there, matey boy. No, what you're citing there is in fact a claim, and not in fact a fact. And I would argue it's a bullshit claim that isn't supported by any evidence that's worth a damn. Because it isn't true. Do you see how that works?
Sadly, not only would many continue in their unbelief if God actually did appear to them,
Well, you got to ask, what exactly is he going to do? I mean, here's a trick. Just make me believe. And you might go, but my free will. This motherfucker's God. A, he violates free will on numerous occasions in his book, though. So that doesn't really hold up. And B, he's an all-powerful God. He should be able to both make me believe and keep his version of free will intact. I say his version because if he knows everything that's going to happen and it happened that way because he decided that's how things would ultimately turn out, that's not free or will for anyone but him.
Many more would reject his authority over them even if they acknowledged his existence.
Well, yeah, obviously, if a guy turned up at your house and told you that he built it with his mind and even demonstrated said mind powers, but that meant that you now had to worship him, would you do so? I bet you wouldn't. Even with superpowers, someone doesn't just get to tell you what to do, no matter how much more powerful they are than you. You don't have to do shit that they say. It's so funny that God acts surprised when he gave people the ability to tell him to fuck off, and they actually use it.
Judas was among the closest friends and disciples of Jesus, yet he was a thief who eventually betrayed the Lord. One might argue that Judas never believed, which would only further validate our first point.
He's a storybook character, for fuck's sake, one designed to get the story moving in a particular direction with a dramatic twist. Nothing more. And come on, they even called the guy Judas. What, was he supposed to not betray Jesus? Talk about cliche.
But if he truly believed in Jesus as the Son of God, then he ultimately chose money over the Master. He chose sin over the Savior.
You know, even if it's all true, didn't he need to do that in order for the slightly important thing to happen? Nah, I'm sure it wouldn't matter. It's not like it's the basis for your fucking religion or anything. No, that guy, right?
He was not and will not be the last to make such choices.
I sincerely doubt he was the first, second, or any other number, but that's only because he probably didn't reel either.
Make no mistake about it. In no way does acknowledging God's existence directly translate into loving him and submitting to his will.
Who the fuck are you telling that to? Everyone knows this. Your lot knows this. My lot, the Atheblabs, know this. Even morons know this. But I did just repeat the first part again. So who exactly is this for?
In fact, in his debate with my colleague Kyle Budd a few years ago, atheist Dan Barker demonstrated such rebelliousness.
Kyle Butt. Still can't believe that's his real name. And I love that his rebelliousness, as if not buying into your obviously ludicrous nonsense, is an act of defiance so extreme it is a literal rebellion. Fuck off.
You're telling me that the God you love and admire has consigned us to eternal torture? Then I would say to that God, if you created hell, you go to hell. And if you want to torture me forever, fine. You prove what a big macho man you are. You do not have my respect.
Yeah, so rebellious and not a completely reasonable action to the concept of a cosmic bully. You ever think to yourselves that maybe you are just weak? Sometimes rebellions are extremely important, especially when they are against dictators. And fuck, didn't God literally teach people to do that in his book? You see how inconsistent this shit is? Freedom from bondage, apart from when it's me doing it, then it's completely cool.
It seems many people wouldn't believe in God even if he did appear to them. Many others might come to believe that he exists, yet they would still reject his authority over them and choose sin over the Savior.
Who said anything about choosing sin? I mean, I'm sure God would say it's a sin not to do what he says all the time because he's so fucking important. But what if someone follows all the other rules? Are they really choosing sin? I don't think so. And any God too self-conscious to accept someone who does literally everything else right just because they won't suck his dick? It's not exactly someone worthy of any kind of worship.
Finally, consider that God has already given every accountable person on earth an adequate amount of evidence to come to a knowledge of his existence.
Oh, I sincerely fucking doubt that, buddy boy. In fact, I would bet that even if he's real, he's left exactly no evidence whatsoever, let alone enough that any person could be convinced by it. Something so convincing that it took countless wars and co-opting various other contrary religious traditions over thousands of years to not even be the only religion yet. I've heard of fairy tales that are apparently more convincing than that shit.
The very reality of a material universe testifies to the existence of a creator.
Universe exists, therefore God is not exactly a slam dunk, mate, especially when that universe keeps demonstrating that all the things your book claims that he did the doing of turn out to have wildly different explanations when people actually fucking bothered to check.
For every house is built by someone, but he who built all things is God.
Ah, another claim without anything backing it up. I can say that everything was made by Jim. Does it make it true by virtue of the fact that I scribbled it down in this notebook? No. Well, the same applies to anything claimed about God, unless you can prove that it actually happened. And you can't. And I know you can't because he didn't. Because it's ludicrous nonsense written in order to explain things that the people who wrote it clearly didn't fucking understand, but really wanted to pretend that they did, so they wrote it anyway. I think they would have made a fine addition to the Cirsic Wall of Shame.
According to Romans 1 and verse 20, since the time of Adam and Eve, mankind has been given the opportunity to see how the things that are made testify quite clearly on behalf of a powerful, invisible creator.
Invisible is just it, because it doesn't do that at all, as we've already discussed. And frankly, one of the biggest problems with God's seemingly perfect invisibility and intangibility is the apparent fact that he is so desperate for people to know that he exists, and yet chooses the most asinine ass-backwards way of allegedly communicating with them. Instead of just using some of that infinite power, which, well, it's not like it could fucking run out, to do, and let's not give him the excuse of not everyone will be swayed, but try it anyway. Do the meet and greet instead of expecting people to play the augmented reality game, I'm totally real, but I'm not gonna fucking tell you unless you just so happen to be born in the right time, place, to the right parents, in the right community. Otherwise, you might accidentally think I'm total horseshit. And that's just far too wordy a title for the game to catch on if you ask me. Bye!
Wait, before you go, I have something super important to tell you. It's life or death. It will change everything forever. Nope, wait, it's gone. Oh well, probably wasn't important. But while I have you, don't forget to comment, subscribe and notify. And if you want more of my smexy voice, check out Mrs. Six's channel Spoonstaff Stories, where I narrate and voice all the videos, and she does the work. And if you want to support the channel, check out the merch store for cool t-shirts, or check out Patreon, memberships and PayPal to support directly. Finally, follow me on the medias of social to get completely pointless guff and to keep up on the latest releases. Oh, I just remembered what I was going to tell you. Whatever you do, don't touch the